You know, if you work in any kind of industrial plant, you know the deal. Every single day, it's a constant stream of incidents. It just never stops. But what if I told you the real problem isn't the number of incidents you're facing, but how you're seeing them? All right, let's dive into this because there's a really powerful way to find the hidden patterns in all that daily noise.
So let's start with a story that I'm willing to bet plays out on factory floors all over the world. It's a cycle that can feel completely impossible to break.
Just picture it. You know the environment, the sound of machinery, people moving everywhere, this constant pressure to just keep things going. In a place this complex, problems are gonna happen. It's just a given. And your team is always on it, always ready to react.
So maybe on Monday, it's a material shortage that holds up a production order.
Then, a few hours later, a quality issue pops up on a totally different product line. And before the day is even over, you're also dealing with some documentation errors that are messing things up across multiple shifts.
I mean, of course it does, right? Each one of these incidents gets logged, someone gets assigned to it, they investigate, and eventually it's closed out. But then it just comes back. Maybe it's a different part number this time, or a different operator, or it's described just a little bit differently, but you get that feeling. It's the same old problem wearing a new disguise.
And this gets to the heart of the matter. The challenge isn't that you don't have enough data. It's that we're all so busy treating these individual symptoms, we completely miss the real problem with the system itself.
Let's break this down. A symptom, that's that one-off material shortage, that single quality issue. You fix it and you move on. But a pattern, well, a pattern is when you realize these aren't isolated events at all. They are structural repetitions. They're all pointing to a much deeper, systemic issue in your operations. And this quote just nails it. The constant firefighting makes it feel like you have hundreds of unique problems. But the reality is, you might only have a handful of real, recurring patterns that are just showing up in different ways. And as long as we keep analyzing incidents one by one, those patterns are going to stay completely hidden. So this brings us to a really fundamental question you have to ask about your own process. Is your incident management system actually helping you learn? Or has it just become a kind of digital graveyard where you're just accumulating tons of information without ever turning it into actionable knowledge? Okay, so how do we fix this? How do we finally start seeing those patterns? Well, the solution doesn't start with some complicated new software. It begins with a really simple but foundational step: organizing your data before you try to do anything else with it.
I mean, let's be honest, this is the reality for so many of us, right? Incident data is just everywhere. It's scattered across spreadsheets, it's buried in chat logs, lost in email threads, jotted down on sticky notes, and all that chaos makes any kind of real system-wide analysis pretty much impossible.
But now contrast all that chaos with this. Look how simple and clean this is. The key is not to capture 100 different data points for every little thing. No, it's to consistently capture just a few crucial ones: the date, the area, a short description, the impact time, and the shift. That's it. This minimal structure is the secret key that unlocks everything.
So once you have that clean, structured foundation in place, then you can bring in the accelerator. And this is where artificial intelligence goes from being a buzzword to becoming a seriously practical and incredibly useful tool for your team. But here's the secret. It's not magic. You can't just throw all your messy data at an AI and hope for the best. To get really powerful results, the questions you ask it, the prompts you use, they have to be just as clear and structured as the data you're feeding it. I mean, just look at this example of a prompt. It's so direct and clear, it sets a very specific goal. It's not just saying, look at this incident. It's saying, look at all of them and find the clusters, find the hidden connections.
And you can get even more specific. Within that main prompt, you can tell the AI exactly what to look for. You can instruct it to find similarities in the product reference, the workstation, the type of incident, even specific keywords in the descriptions. It can scan hundreds of these entries in seconds and spot connections that might take a person days of sifting through spreadsheets to uncover.
So, okay, that's the theory. But does this actually work in the real world? Let's look at a quick, tangible example that shows just how dramatic the shift from individual analysis to pattern detection can be. So here's the before picture. You've got a plant that's recorded over 100 incidents in just a few weeks. And when you first look at it, it's just this overwhelming mess of material issues, assembly problems, quality checks. Each one looks like a completely separate fire that you need to put out. And here's the after. By structuring all that data and running it through a targeted AI analysis, Those 100-plus seemingly unique problems were boiled down to just three core, recurring patterns. That's it. All that noise was being caused by just 3 systemic issues. Do you see how this changes everything? Instead of your team chasing their tails trying to fix 100 different symptoms, they can now focus all their energy and resources on solving just 3 root problems. That is how you stop reacting and start proactively improving.
Okay, so you've seen the method, you've seen the impact it can have. Let's talk about how you can actually start applying this. And it all begins with a quick, honest look at where you are right now.
So just take a second and ask yourself these questions. First, is your incident recording actually structured and consistent? Second, can you easily spot recurring problems that happen across different shifts or different products? And third, how do you prioritize what to fix? Is it based on hard data, like how often something happens and how big its impact is? Your answers to these questions are going to tell you a whole lot about where you are on this journey.
And look, if you found yourself answering no or I'm not really sure to those questions, don't worry. That is a very common starting point. And that's exactly why we put together a clear path to help you move forward. It's a complete toolkit we call Module 1, and it's designed to help you implement this entire system. It comes with a full, step-by-step playbook, a library of all the structured AI prompts you'll need, and a detailed self-assessment tool to guide you. You can go from cluttered data to clear, strategic action. And the first step couldn't be simpler. You can download the complete Module 1 playbook by using the link right there in the description. It's time to stop chasing symptoms and finally start improving your system.